How's everyone doing tonight? Good. We're going to have a good time. Believe me. Tonight, we're going to have artists that will make you laugh, cry, be entertained. We are going to have a good time this evening.
Now, you may say that I'm here in Birmingham, and you may not know why, but I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of communities and states. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what goes on in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Now, in any nonviolent campaign, there are four basic components. The collection of facts to determine whether injustice really exists. Negotiation, self-purification, and direct action. We have gone through all these steps. There have been more unsolved bombings in the city of Birmingham than in any other place in the nation. These are the cold, brutal facts. Now you may ask, self-purification. We have started a series of programs and workshops on nonviolence. Why direct action? Why sit-ins and marches and so forth? Isn't negotiation a better path? And you were quite right in asking for direct action. Now listen, the purpose of our direct action program is to create such a crisis-packed situation that it will inevitably open the door to negotiation. For years, we have known through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have never engaged in a direct action campaign that was well-timed in the eyes of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the air of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This word, wait, has almost always meant never. Actually, time itself is neutral. It can either be used constructively or destructively. We must come to see that justice too long delayed is justice denied. Now we ask, how can you obey certain laws and disobey others? And the answer to that question lies in the fact that there are two types of laws: just and unjust. Now I will be the first to obey a just law. We all have a moral and legal responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, we have a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. Some laws are just on the face, but unjust in their application. Now, you ask me, you say, why are you here in Birmingham? Everything you do and your people are extreme. Oh, I'm so disappointed in the white moderate. I stand between two opposing forces in the Negro community. One force of complacency made up in part of Negroes who have had to deal with long years of suffering. The other forces of bitterness and hatred. It is expressed in the black nationalist movements springing up all across the nation, longest and best known by Elijah Muhammad's Black Muslim movement. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. Was not Jesus an extremist for love? Was not Paul an extremist for the Christian gospel? Was not Amos an extremist for justice? Was not Martin Luther an extremist? And John Bunyan an extremist? And Abraham Lincoln an extremist? And Thomas Jefferson an extremist? Oh, my dear fellow clergymen. The question is not whether we will be extremists or not, but what type of extremists we will be. So perhaps this world is in dire need of a creative extremist. Secondly, I'd like to express my discomfort with the white church and its leadership. There was a time when the church was powerful. It was a time when the early Christians rejoiced in the fact that they were deemed worthy to suffer for their cause. But oh, God is here. And the judgment day is upon us. If today's church does not recapture the sacrificial spirit of the early church, it will lose its authenticity. It will forfeit the loyalty of millions. And it will be dismissed as yet another social club with no purpose in the 20th century. Never have I written a letter so long. I'm afraid it may take up too much of your precious time. I assure you it would not have been this long if I had been sitting at a comfortable desk. But what else can one do when he is alone in a narrow jail cell? But write long letters, think long thoughts, and pray long prayers. I hope this letter finds you in good faith. Let us all hope that the deep clouds of racial prejudice will pass, and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities. And one day, and not too distant a tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine brightly, scintillating this great nation. Yours for the cause of peace and brotherhood, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Thank you.
We shall overcome. Though I join hands so often with students and others behind jail bars singing, we shall overcome. Sometimes